Hello, everybody. This is Rafael Garcia again, and I'm back with another one of the real life stories. And today I am talking to an MMA athlete, Daniel Chacon, who is a Washington, D.C. based MMA athlete. And we're going to talk some more about his career and what he has accomplished as a fighter and just some of the things that he sees for himself down the line. So, Daniel, I definitely appreciate your time and thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Ralph. I really like getting putting myself out there, and I feel very lucky to have like an interview with you, and I've heard great things, and I very like your articles are amazing. So I look forward to this.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate the praise. I definitely appreciate the support too as well. So we're definitely going to just jump right into it today, and let's start with your career as an athlete. Let's before we go into that, let's talk about you as a man first. Where are you from? And just give us a bit background of how you got started in martial arts as a whole.
Sure. Well, I'm from South America. I was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and I'm also Bolivian. And I came from New Jersey. I moved to the States in Jersey, and then went to here DC. So I've been in DC for quite a while now, 7, 8 years. And right now I'm 27 years old, and roaring to make a name out of myself for the mixed martial arts community. And as for myself, I feel like it's gonna be one of the best moves for me to like continue to push for DC fighters.
That's an interesting background. What being an immigrant to this country, what are some of the like difficulties you face as an athlete trying to establish yourself as a actual professional fighter?
Yeah, I mean that's a really good question. There's a lot of challenges I've gone through. Because obviously when I came to the States at that time there wasn't really like any big athletes like Hispanics athletes that you'll hear or see, even celebrities, so it was hard to find someone to look up to within my own community, my own race. I think that especially in martial arts and in mixed martial arts, it's blowing up, and so like I feel very lucky that I've been fortunate enough to find the right people to train with, and just develop my own style and kind of like create an idol to inspire others, so they can see a Latino move up in the mixed martial arts world. So I think before there wasn't at my time anyone I could look up to. There was like one or two, but I'm taking the charge for myself since I can be that catalyst for other fighters from DC, or like Latino fighters from DC, Maryland, or Virginia.
Okay, okay, I definitely understand that. And as you kind of build yourself within that community, when people look at you as an athlete and as a person, what are some of the things that you would like for them to see as you continue to develop your own brand, develop your personality as a fighter? How would you like people to think of you as they look after your career?
Well, when people look at me, first of all, like I want them to look at a person who's really, passionate, really hardworking, really caring, and and that kind of transfers to my career as an athlete, as a fighter. I'm a very giving person, and I believe that you always give more to before you get anything. So I'm a very giving person, and when I train for fights or I do any kind of competitiveness, like when I get to that mindset, like I always look out for others. And being a fighter is a very selfish thing to do because you have to everything has to be homed into you. So it's kind of intuitive because I'm a very giving person, but then when I have to be a fighter, fighters are very selfish people because everything has to be about them. I want people to know that I'm not like that. Like I'm not a selfish fighter or like a very like ego or all that crazy pride. Like I carry myself very well. I carry myself with respect, a lot of integrity, and I'm a very giving person first and foremost before like a fighter.
Now let's stay there for a minute. Since you kind of fit into a different like category than the usual stereotype in which most martial artists are placed into, whether if it's wrong or not, there is still a stigma that goes on with most fighters. What? How did you get into martial arts to begin with? What kind of caught your attention about MMA as a whole that kind of made you fall in love with the sport?
Pardon me, can I hear that question one more time? I missed it.
Yeah, no problem. What about MMA kind of caught your attention? What made you fall in love with the sport?
Well, when I started out, like I was just a regular athlete playing soccer, tennis, and other sports. When back in high school, this might be this might be the long version, but I'm trying to cut it short, right, as best as I can. So when I started out in high school, I was playing football, tennis, and other sports. And at the time, I also excelled in arts. So for me, like martial arts is the way to express yourself. You heard it from Bruce Lee. You heard it from so many people. It's one of the best ways to express yourself, kind of like in dancing or any other styles, right? And so for me as an artist, when I was young, like I was really big into drawing, painting, and also playing sports. And I didn't really get into martial arts the way other people like have because I thought at that time I just like to play sports, I like to be competitive, and I love to be artistic. And I excelled in the arts that I got a scholarship, but I wasn't able to continue my education with that for other reasons I'll talk about very soon. But because of that, I had to kind of figure out how can I express myself. And so there was a stage in my life where I was depressed because I couldn't play sports and I didn't feel a future and I couldn't express myself. And I think martial arts came at the right time, at the right place. And I give the credit to my best friend Andre Vallis, who's in New Jersey, who actually is in law school right now, somewhere in the Midwest. But I give credit to him because he's the one who exposed me to like martial arts and mixed martial arts. He actually was a brown belt in things Shotokan karate, and we dabbled a bit, and I kind of liked the philosophy of martial arts. And then once we saw our first fight like together on the VHS tape, like we went all like 4 blocks. It's like 4 blocks, and then we had to over town. Like so many things we had to get through this blockbuster. It's a crazy story. But we finally got this video, this VHS. We popped it in. It was the first time I ever seen like UFC or MMA, and I was like, this is amazing. And this is like now I didn't see the violence. I saw a small part of me saw like these people are expressing themselves, and like they're like really giving everything they got. They're putting their soul and their heart into this, and that's something beautiful. And then I ended up like finding more about it, and then I started training in New Jersey. Not as like I didn't jump in right in, but that's how I originally started.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Who are some of the early fighters that kind of caught your attention that stood out among the group? You say, you were introduced kind of to the UFC at a later time. So who are some of the guys who caught your attention and made you think that this is something that you wanted to do?
Well, yeah, at that time, I think everyone says it. It's like the Gracies, right? The Gracie, Hoist Gracie. I think that Hoist was like an amazing guy. Like he just came in there, not the biggest, buffest guy in the world, and he was like beating these people, and no one knew what jiu-jitsu was about. And it's really interesting how he was just like controlling them, and no one. And I myself, I kind of like because at that time you didn't know like what a fighter is. You had an idea of like a boxer. You had an idea of like kickboxer or Bruce Lee, but you didn't really have an idea of what a no holds bar fighter is. And so he kind of gave like that figure, and I think that he did a. I looked up to him as a wow, he's beating all these people, but I didn't like aspire to be him. I just felt like he was trying to like just start something really positive where jiu-jitsu is the truth, and I didn't know what jiu-jitsu was about, so it took me a while to kind of like get to know what jiu-jitsu is and martial arts more. But at the first, like when I looked at Gracie, I was like, man, that guy's awesome because he's beating these people, and he looks like he's a nice guy. He doesn't look he has all these crazy tattoos, doesn't have a mohawk, looks like a nice guy, and he's able to beat these people. And that's why like, the guys I look up to now, or the guys like I want to be, like what I'm trying to be is I'm not trying to like have an image of like tattoos, all this stuff. I do carry a lot of pride and courage and a lot of passion into my sport, but I don't feel like I have to like wear or like be something I don't want to be.
So when was your moment when you knew that this is something that you wanted to do? Like you mentioned that you weren't able to pursue your education, which is something I would like to touch on later. But at what point in time did you realize, okay, this is something that I can dedicate myself to doing and I can be successful being a fighter?
Moment was when, well, going back to that topic of, I couldn't continue my medication, and it was really hard because, I myself, like, when you find something that you can express yourself, it's beautiful, you know, and I took it like And the reason I couldn't go because when I came to this country, I wasn't a legal resident. And so, not being a legal resident, there was so many challenges, and it was very difficult to grow up in this country. And then I didn't have an identity, basically. You know, it's really hard. Like I didn't have an identity. Didn't I knew there was a future, but what was it? You know, like it's just like so many obstacles, so many hurdles get tossed when you grow up in this country, and without not having an identity. And so one was like not being able to pursue my education, and it was like taken from me. Kind of, you know, it's very painful. So you know, you have something within your grasp and you can't do it, and it's not your fault. And I always tell myself every day. I tell people who I hear the same stories, and more of us are coming out of the shadows, and you're hearing more stories from more articles, and it's getting a lot of buzz. And I definitely want to help that, and I want to inspire those people to like know that you can do it. You can be happy. In the end, you can be happy. You know. But that was a turning point because once martial arts came to my life, that brought happiness, and then I told myself that this is the way I can inspire myself. I can and not only I can inspire others, and this is the way where I can be myself and express myself. And I mean, the training is awesome. Like the community is awesome. It's so positive. Everyone takes care of you. So I mean, it's a great place to be. But you know, I just found another way just to be creative and be, you know, to express myself. And after a while, just I started really like digging the whole, you know, winning and getting better. So I think that one snowball effect. I just started training more, started competing more, and then I ended up my goal, one small goals, big goals, long-term goals, and then I started hitting them one after another. And here I am today, you know, world like a amateur world champion, North American champion, a couple of medals here or there, tournaments. I'm a pro fighter now. I'm still undefeated. So you know, and I look forward to like continue to make you know, do good in my career.
So let me touch on something that you just mentioned. You want people to kind of let me back up. How are you using your platform now to kind of reach out to people that have similar backgrounds to you, that have kind of the same story of struggle coming into this country as you? Like, how are you reaching out to them now, and what are some of those steps that you're taking?
Well, one is by being honest. You know, I think, and this brings me joy. Like right now, like I'm happy. I'm getting happier by telling the story because for a long time I carry shame. You know, it's like, and there's many of us who carry shame, like knowing this, like what, like it's a secret. It's weird, you know, and so I'm a lot happier by telling this, and so I think that's the first step. You know, first step is just saying like I'm one of you guys, like I'm part of this. I've been through this. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to like reach out to communities, the Latin community, like talking to people within my groups, or reaching out to like the youth centers. And I definitely feel that, you know, I've been blessed having people in my life to get where I am today, and I've been blessed in a position, right, so that I can help others, and that's what I want to do. And so right now, it's just I just started actually. You know, before it was just I was kind of ashamed, like for the throughout the last, you know, I guess this happened this year when I started like just turning, you know, kind of the corner. But before this year, I was ashamed about it. I didn't really talk to too many people about it. You know, I didn't to help others. I was like, I love giving, but how can if I want to help, I have to tell them who I am. I have to tell my story. So right now, like it's by telling you and, you know, letting everyone know, I think I am helping. And once this goes out, or you know, I'll keep on reaching to like centers and, you know, letting people know that, you know, I'm a story. I'm someone that you can say that you'll be happy. You know, there is a way to be happy. It might not be martial arts. It might be something else. You know, I wish you to know that there is a life. There is. Don't feel sad. You know, don't feel like depressed. You know, don't be ashamed. You know, you'll have a great life. You know, this country might not give you what you want right now, but it will give you like, but you will be happy.
When did you have that moment where you felt more comfortable actually talking about your story? Like, was there something that occurred to you? Did someone kind of express themselves to you, or was it just something that you woke up one morning and was like, I'm comfortable talking about this now?
Yeah, I think that what changed a lot was after I won my last fight, my pro fight in April, and when I was, it's a good story actually. So I finished my fight. I trained my butt off for this guy, and he's like a pro boxer, and it was supposed to be one of the best fights, and I was like super doped, and I ended up finishing him in the first round, like by triangle choke. I was trying to knock him out. I was trying to head kick him. Like I was trying to put him out. That was my goal, but. I ended up finishing him. It was a great time. You know, he's like a super nice guy, and he's actually Hispanic too. He's actually from Puerto Rico. And so like after the fight, he comes up to me and then he talks to me in Spanish. He's like, we're doing this for our peoples, you know. And then like when we're like we put up a good show, and then that kind of like clicked. Like I think he's doing this to stand for something. He's not, you know. So I didn't have a full conversation with him, but when him saying that, I kind of clicked, and I'm in a position where I can help. I'm in a position where there's eyes on me. I'm in a position where my job is to like people will train people to be better people, right, through martial arts, and so I'm not doing that. I should, tell my story and help others. And so I was walking up to meet my whole group, my whole beta team in Washington, D.C. Like they all came out, roaring like 100 people there. It was amazing. All 100 of them just like cheering on to me. And I was walking up, and then there was these like two little kids, and they were like Latinos too. One was like 5, and one was like, I guess 8. And the dad came up to me, and he asked me, like, can you please take a picture with them? And then I just like, that was another sign. I was like, wow, like these kids will probably remember me in their life. They will probably remember who, like that guy kind of looks like us, and he's up there fighting, and I won't, so like I'm thinking like, man, I am in this position. Like, why should I be ashamed of not telling my story? Who knows? Like, there's other people out there that like are probably super depressed or even worse. So I'm like, I'm in a great position to like share my story, and I should. And so I think that was a turning point. After like the Shogun fights in Baltimore, like after I celebrated my team, I just like that was the click in my mind. And I think one person I definitely want to give out credit to is my girlfriend, Sarah Bucher. She actually she's a great person. She's I love that woman because she definitely made me better. She definitely like opened up my eyes and said, she said like, you're an incredible man, and you're destined to help others. You're destined to do great, but you have to share your story. You have to be honest with yourself. Don't carry that shame. And so I made that change. And so yeah, I think this recently.
No, that's definitely a powerful story to hear, and it's good to see like when athletes have the opportunity to mix in their career while giving back to the community at the same time. What are some of your biggest successes as a fighter? You mentioned that you're currently undefeated right now. So, what are some of the things that you've done as a fighter that stand out that kind of have helped you in your career?
I think what stands out a lot is by me just being training a lot and really homing in my skills. I think a lot of fighters, amateur fighters, in MMA, are like after 2 months, like, or 3 or 4 months, to get into the cage, not fully prepared. I think I give credit a lot to my instructor, my master Nakapon. Like when I joined them, I've had a few fights, but they were sloppy. Like they were sloppy fights, really bad. And so, and I was like, I want to train with you for 3 months, and I want to fight again. And so I think that I remember he's telling me, if it looks right, it's right. If the right kick looks smooth and perfect, that's a powerful kick. So he's always focused on like, you really have to prepare. You really have to have everything in your arsenal in order to move up. If you want this your career, you want to be skilled. Plain and simple. You have skill, you have heart, you have a good team, you'll get far. So I have heart. Like I definitely know that. I was lacking the team and the skill. I got by with okay skill, but with Nakapon's like instruction and my skill just jumped off, and he always just focused on like just developing my skill. I'm not blessed with like knockout power, So like I'm not not blessed with like knocking people out just by touching them. So I had to really develop my skill in the striking and jiu-jitsu and wrestling and everything. And now we have a strong team, so I think I'm in a great place right now, and I look forward to like the next fights. And right now, I think I had one scheduled, but then I tore my LCL. But because I have a great team, they all want me to train. They train around my injury, and I was able to kind of keep on developing my skill. So it's great to know that I have a great instructor, I have a great team, and I can go pretty far with this.
How is your recovery from that injury going?
It's going great. I think a lot of athletes get into you know, get to it. I've had my ribs broken and some other stuff, but like being at the moment of like you're at a fight camp, you're ready to go, you have your conditioning guy, you have your strength guy, you're training hard, you're wrestling, you're sparring, and then like something like this happens like 3 weeks before your fight, or like you know, and so I was really devastated. I was really upset. And I thought it was going to be longer than expected. The doctor was telling me like 4 to 6 weeks. That's not even, and I told them what I did. They were like, it's going to be longer. You can't do that. Not in 4 to 6 weeks. Like, they told me 4 to 6 weeks to do jumping jacks, or I could do some push-ups or like some running. They're like, you can't wrestle, like do all this stuff in 4 to 6 weeks. But I think that I've been really careful and I've been really aware of my body. I think you're your best doctor because you know your body best. So I know my body really well, so I was able to start coming up fat, like really slowing down my training, and the recovery itself just went great. Right now I'm rolling, I'm wrestling more, I'm doing my pad work, I'm getting back to my rhythm, and doctors expected another four weeks, and now I'm like just feeling great. I still have to be careful because it's back of your mind, like any injury, you just have to kind of make sure that you're not pushing it. But as of now, like I feel really good with this injury, and I'm really taking care of it. And I look forward to like fighting like September or October, November.
So, as you prepare for your own personal comeback, what are some of your goals in MMA? Like when you think of yourself down the line in a couple of years, 2, 3 years, what are some of the goals that you wish to have obtained?
Well, I definitely want to go. I want to fight more. I want to still fight Thai boxing. That's one of my passions. So I'm trying to like get a Muay Thai fight. Going for myself, a pro Muay Thai fight, because I think that's something I've had like five pro. I have five Muay Thai fights, amateur fights, and I really enjoyed it. So it's been a long time, and I just want to get back into that. For my MMA career, I still want to work with John Rollo, who's the owner of Shogun Fights. He's an amazing promoter. He takes care of his fighters. Amazing show. He's a guy who brought MMA legalized in Maryland. He's very inviting. He asked me to come back. When I messaged him about the injury, he said, "Don't worry about it. I need you back this year. I mean, I would like to have you back." He knows that I put a lot. I'm very professional. I'm on weight. I get my medicals done. I get my everything done. So, and he really liked the crowd I brought. So I think that in my career, I want to keep fighting for Shogun, keep fighting for other big promotions. I'm looking to like either do CFFC, which is a great show as well. I know a lot of people that I used to train with. They're in that promotion. Ring of Combat is another place I'm looking at. I'm looking to make my name at, and then just take it from there. I think I feel like the talent out there, because I feel like this is like the best way to test yourself. I think Shogun, Ring of Combat, and CFFC, just developing my fights over there, and get into Bellator and then move up to the UFC. But I think those three promotions, so they're on my list. They're definitely on my list. The Shogun fights, the Ring of Combat, and CFFC.
So, looking at those smaller promotions, what do you think that they would add to your career? What is it about like the regional type of groups that have those three specifically standing out for you?
For those small promotions, I think that they're going to help not only my career, but it's going to help create a buzz about what I'm doing, what I'm here for. You know, I'm here to win. I'm here to, keep moving forward in my career, get 5-0, stay undefeated. But also my message. What is the message? Why am I fighting? I'm fighting for my community. I'm fighting for a cause. So I think these smaller shows are going to help me, promote that and just broaden the horizon of like my audience and reach out to more people for the cause I'm fighting. These are great shows, and I think their talent, they have really good talent. I mean, I think Real Combat is like top guys. I see their fights, and CFC, they're top guys as well. And like I get excited when I see these guys fight. I'm like, those guys are really good, and I want to test my skills there. But I think these shows are going to help not only my career get up, but the reason, the message why I'm fighting.
So let's talk about MMA as a whole. Who are some of the current fighters that you enjoy watching yourself, or just some guys that you appreciate in the sport?
I'm a fan of all fighters, actually. I'm a fan of all the fighters who like put it all on the line. I think one guy that I feel like is awesome, but I think like I would not copy his style is Joe Lozon. Joe Lozon goes hard. He gets that money. He goes out for the knockout, or goes for like submission at night, or goes for like fight at night. So I mean, I love seeing that guy, but I feel bad at it. Like he goes to wars every fight, which is it's great to watch. But as a fighter, I'm like, I would not want that. I would not want all these wars. I want to preserve myself for like a good title fight, or preserve myself for the future. But I like guys who are a little more technical. Well, very technical. I'm sorry, who are very technical. Like Donald Cerrone, he's like one of the guys I really look up to. The way he moves, the way he's like very accurate, and his precision is awesome, and his jiu-jitsu is incredible. So I think Donald Cerrone is one of the guys I really look up to, and I think he retired now, but Rich Franklin was one of the guys I really look up to back in the day, just because he carried himself with a lot of respect. He was very professional. Back in the UFC days when he was a champ, I think he carried himself very well. He was very positive. And when I met him, he's definitely inspired me. At that time, I was like 200 pounds, 220 pounds. And he talked to me, and I just felt a great vibe from him. So I think he's a great fighter, creates good angles. He's great off his back. He's a great striker. Really awkward, a little style. His style's a little awkward, but his precision is on point. But I think those two are the guys I kind of look up to.
So how would you like for MMA fans to think about your style as a fighter? Is there anything particular that you want to be known for, or are you just there to kind of be just, I don't want to say like an all around fighter, but what are some of the things that you want to be known for most as you continue on your career?
Okay. I want them to know that I bet like my skill in striking is on point, and they're gonna be like, that guy can definitely pick people apart. I'm not a brawler, that's for sure. Like I don't like my fights to be brawling. Like I prefer to be a tactician and just like snipe people. And every time I'm on my back, everyone's gonna expect a great like submissions, like on my back right away. I'm trying to submit you. I'm trying to like sweep you, submit you, sweep you. So I think that's pretty much my game, all my fights. Even like when I try to like think about what else could I do, I'm like, no, this is what I like to do. Because I think a lot of fighters, they change their game a lot, and I think you just gotta work on your strong points. Obviously you gotta work on your weak points, but if you're a brawler, just be a technical brawler, right? But that's what you like to do. You like to get in there and you feel comfortable in there and you like to brawl. Perhaps be a technical brawler. But for example, Guida. Guida is like a great brawler, and I think a few fights he tried to be more of a sniper. He tried to be more of a technical guy, and then they went horrible on him. So I think like some people have a good style. Like if you're a good brawler, just keep that brawler. Just gotta be more precise. If you're a good striker, if you're a good sniper, and you feel like, oh man, I should just brawl more, maybe, but as for me, I think that I'm more into like timing. Time you, precision, get you, and then when I'm on back, time you, put you in submissions, choke you, arm lock, whatever. And or if I'm on top, I'm gonna probably keep passing your guard and try to submit you. I don't really lay and pray. That's one of the things that most of my fights, like when I'm on top, I'm trying to pass. I'm trying to not hang out, And I think that's bad to the point where like hold way out for the round, But like I think just because my mindset is like I need to pass, I need to get better.
That's definitely good to hear, especially with how the sport is going. So as we come to a close today, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to let everyone know where they can find out more about you as a fighter, and if there's anyone in the Washington D.C. area, where could they find you to come talk about training, or just talk to you and get an opportunity to meet you in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm definitely I'm Beta Academy is where I teach, and there's where I train. It's in Washington D.C. We're like the premier school in D.C. We have Thai boxing, jiu-jitsu. We have kids program, after school program. We have a lot of great things, and our school is just a crazy, a loving community. We definitely take care of each other, and I like to think like for me to reach out to me, you can go on my Facebook, Daniel Chacon, or you can go on my fan page. My fan page is Federico Daniel Chacon Molina. It's also a link to from my Facebook site. Federico is actually my first name, so and Federico, and people call me like Danny the whole time, so I'm like I'll go with Danny. But I also have my on my Facebook, my email's there, and right now I'm developing my website. So yeah, so once I get my website going, I'll definitely like put it out there on my Facebook pages. So as of now, just like through Beta Academy DC, you can go on the website betaacademy.com. You can go definitely look up me on Facebook, Daniel Chacon, or look up my fan page, Federico Daniel Chacon Molina, and then that's where I can be reached.
Okay, good stuff, Daniel. I definitely appreciate your time today. I definitely appreciate you talking to me, and I will keep an eye on your career. And we're probably talking again down the line once you've had some more success. I'm sure you will continue winning and going about doing great things.
What was that? One more time? Sorry.
No, I was saying I definitely appreciate your time, and I expect a lot of great success out of you. So I plan on talking to you again down the line once you've had some more opportunity to keep having your hand raised.
All right. Well,
No problem. Thank you.
thank you, Ralph.
Have a good one.
You too. Thank you so much.